Howdy folks, Nathan here, and I'm coming at you from beautiful Colorado, but most importantly, I'm coming at you in front of a 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLS 450 4MATIC. And I'm a family guy. This is a family vehicle, granted, an upscale family vehicle. At the end of the video, I'm going to be telling you what the price is, but this is a buddy review. And what I wanted to do was I wanted two different perspectives. The family man with little kids and rugrats, and the bachelor.
The bachelor.
That's right. So I have Case here. And Case and I are going to review this video. We're going to give you a big walk around. We're going to take it, run it 0 to 60, real world with 3 people. That's including the cameraman. And we're going to try to find snarfs by using voice activation, which, by the way, is an interesting system. And
we're also going to see how the ride is.
Yes. Yes. So all of that begins with us doing a walk around. So Case and I are going to show you the beauty of this Mercedes-Benz. Now bear in mind, about 2 years ago, this thing was completely refreshed. So it sits on a Mercedes-Benz S-Class platform. Essentially, think of this as a very chunky S-Class wagon that can go off-road. And it actually can go off-road.
And I'll tell you what, walking up to this thing from the exterior, a lot of modern SUVs don't really appeal to me, but this has got a good stance. Something that I love is on the front, you've got 285, so some nice wide tires, but on the back, 325, so you've got beefy rubber and
that's almost core-inch
wheels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so this has the AMG package, which is it's not an AMG, it just has the package. So one of the things it gets, instead of the 20-inch wheels, which comes standard, 23-inch wheels.
And only a vehicle this size could make a 23-inch wheel look regularly sized. I mean, these are huge wheels, but it's on a huge vehicle. Overall, not bad looking though. I have one thing in my mind. So you've obviously been reviewing vehicles longer than I have.
A little what?
Nathan, do you think logos can get any bigger on a vehicle?
I know, right?
Is it possible?
Well, there are, I believe, some sensors that are actually behind this, if I'm correct. Some of the other logos that are really,
Still,
here's a camera down there too.
That Mercedes-Benz logo is as big as my head.
Actually, it is, isn't it?
This is a great color, though. It's a good-looking vehicle all around.
Yeah, you know, not every vehicle can pull off white, but this one does it really well. Mercedes is really good about that, and I'll tell you a little secret about Mercedes later on. I wanted the cameraman, though, to put the camera right around here, because what Case is talking about, if you look straight back, is how far this rear tire sticks out.
Yeah, you get a little fender flare there, too.
Yeah,
It looks sporty. It looks good.
And this isn't even the full AMG, which is crazy killer powerful. But we'll talk about power. I'm going to actually pop the hood and show you guys something very interesting, because this is not a V8 despite its size.
No, despite its size and its price, which we'll get into a little later on. This is, of course, not a cheap vehicle, as you would expect, but we've got this inline 6-cylinder. It's a 3-liter with a mild hybrid setup.
Yep,
362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, and a 9-speed automatic transmission. And tell us a little bit about that mild hybrid system.
So this has the EQ Boost. And EQ Boost is very interesting because it gives you a little oomph. It is a mild hybrid system that also works as a start-stop system.
Right.
And helps push you off the line. Now check this out. You can't see the turbocharger because this is turbocharged, but in there, on top of that, is the EQ Boost system, which gives you 21 extra horsepower and 184 extra pound-feet of torque. So, off the line, when you really hammer it, especially in the sport mode, this thing moves, and we will show you that on camera.
Even though it's heavy, I mean, it's about 5,400 pounds, but...
That's right, about 5,400 pounds. By the way, this thing can tow up to 7,700 pounds, which is the same as one of its competitors, which we'll talk about in a minute. However, what I also wanted to mention is the fact that despite the fact that this thing weighs that much and can tow that much, and it's a big vehicle, it gets 20 miles per gallon combined, according to the EPA, which isn't too bad.
18 city, 24 highway, and that's largely a product of all this tech that we're talking about. Something else I think is interesting, whatever this high-tech material is down here.
It's kind of like a carbon fiber, but it's not.
Do you think this is to save weight? That would be hilarious. That would
be
preposterous.
I'm pretty sure that this is for dissipating heat because it's right over the radiator.
Let us know in the comments if you know why this is this way. It's very funky looking, very German.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes with the package here.
With the territory.
Now, I wanted to show you one of the party tricks of this vehicle, and that is the fact that it has extremely good cargo space. So let's work our way to the back. I am cheating, guys. I have the sticker on hand with my notes because, unlike Case, I have a soft old brain, and the numbers just leak out of me. All right, so what you're looking at here is 17.4 cubic feet of cargo space. That's behind the third row. By the way, the third row is big enough for adults. And let's see here. Whoa!
Bit of extra space.
Yes, not only that extra space, but you do have a very
interesting
spare tire.
compact spare.
Call that a donut. I do like the fact that there's extra space down here. Now, you can fold down these seats. I believe, in case on your side, you hit those buttons.
Yeah,
or maybe,
so this is second row
second row,
right
so
here.
third row's over here.
Third row is back here. And not a ton of space behind this third row, which makes sense. I mean, you can only ask for so much.
But once you drop and go behind the second row, then you have 48.7 cubic feet of cargo space.
We've got a bag in the back seat here, so this isn't going to fold all the way down.
Yeah, but if your child was there, it's good to know it wouldn't crush him to death. So that's really good. And then, of course, you can also fold the second row as well.
Yeah, that's on my side.
Yeah. Now,
and it does it in its own time, at its own pace. And this is a 6-seat configuration, but you can get a 7-seat with a full width bench in the middle row.
Which, personally speaking, is what I would get for a little bit more utility, and you're able to hold more. Although the other side of it is that way you can leave in-laws behind you and not have to drag them with. So you have this overall design, and the cool part about it is for a party dude like the young gun right here, you'd be able to get your friends in here, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'd be able to put my children in the far, far third row and not have to hear them as much, which is good for in-laws too. A lesson for you in the future, young man. So that's important. But the most important part about this vehicle, I feel, is the way the interior is laid out, because it is gorgeous.
Should we check out the inside?
Yeah, let's do that. So the cameraman's going to go into the back seat, and we are going to fire this puppy up.
You'd unlocked it.
I wonder if you can see those handles. Those things are worth seeing. Tell you what, before I sit down, see if you can lean forward and have a look at this. Check out these handles. Isn't that cool? Not only do they help you get inside, but they're the, oh my God, please no handles.
They're the Nathan is driving.
When I'm driving.
You need to brace yourself handles.
So you have two handles that you can grab on just in case I'm driving. Same touchpad as before. Not a huge fan of this, by the way.
No, touchpads never work that well. They're never intuitive.
They're really not. But this is, even though it looks like it's one screen, it's actually two screens here. I'm going to fire up the engine, and you're going to see the display, which I think is quite good. But I wanted to point out that these seats, they are standard heated and cooled, even on the base model, which is around $77,000, by the way. This one has some other upgrades to it as well, including this massive sunroof. So just keep all those things in mind before I read the price, which I'll do at the end of the video.
Yeah, that's going to take a little bit to get over.
You almost passed out.
I did.
I think you were hyperventilating.
So
it was pretty noticeable.
Something I have to give Mercedes credit for is there are some manufacturers and some vehicles that do tech in a way that makes your experience more complicated and more effort, more of a pain. Mm-hmm. But Mercedes does it in a way where it does add to the car.
Okay, that's an interesting point, and I will agree with that.
I like the screen layout. I don't love this system of controlling it, but in general, they do a lot.
The thing is that I like the switches and toggles here.
Yeah.
I just don't like this pad very much.
The touchpad is my least favorite part.
But here is the most important part of this car. Aha! Here we go. Now, so here are the settings, if you can see this camera, dude. So individual, sport, comfort, and eco. There's one more, off-road, my favorite.
Oh, with the 23-inch wheels and all.
I know, that's actually one of the reasons why we're not doing the off-road test of this is because of those wheels, which each one of them is worth, I don't know what I make it in a year. So it does also have this. Now, if you're in off-road mode, it'll automatically adjust, but otherwise, you're able to adjust the ride height, which gives you a maximum of 8.7 inches of ground clearance. That's not too bad. That's like Subaru territory.
Yeah, yeah.
But for a vehicle this
Off-road
size,
crossover.
Yeah, I would like it to be a little bit higher personally. But also, if I were going to go off-road in this, I wouldn't order the one with the 23-inch wheels. Now, we have to do something a little bit different this time because Andre took the Solo DL to Las Vegas for some reason. We don't know exactly why. So
they ran away together.
I think he's trying to see how quickly he can pull a handle for slot machines. So we're going to use this simple timer, and I'm going to put this in sport mode. Now, in just a moment, not right now, of course, when we get to the other light, we're going to do a real world 0 to 60 where we're merging onto a highway. And once again, That is with 3 people in this vehicle. And I'm unfortunately not allowed to play heavy metal or punk rock music, which makes a vehicle go faster. That is science.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. But what I can do is guarantee you that this vehicle will impress you, considering the fact that it is so big and heavy. Who do you think the competition is for this vehicle?
Escalade, 100%.
Right. Pardon me. The Cadillac Escalade, but not just any Escalade. I think, if you look at price and if you look at capability, the Escalade with the 3-liter diesel.
Yeah, and we have experience with that engine. You and I have both road tripped that cross country, and that was a fantastic vehicle. That's a torquey motor. It gets unbelievable range. It gets really good efficiency for the size and shape of the vehicle that it sits in. So that's a big draw.
It is, and believe it or not, that vehicle and this one, at least the short wheelbase one and this one, are almost identical with their base price. And then if you feature them and work your way up the ladder, they're very close. So it's like either this or one of those Cadillacs.
All right, are we about ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop right past here and just make sure that we are cool. You ready?
Yep.
And go.
Oh, it took a second to get rolling there.
Yeah, a little bit of lag, but it moved.
And there we go. Oh, just under 8 seconds, so 7.5, which
is,
I
think about
this isn't a sports car.
No, but it's about a second and a half slower than I think what it would get at sea level. Remember, guys, that we are a mile above sea level here, actually a little bit above that. So that and 3 people in the vehicle and all that, all of that does work to slow it down.
Absolutely.
But considering its bulk, that's pretty good. And I didn't torque it, by the way. I just went flat. If I torqued it, I think I would have actually been able to
get a little bit extra right off the line because it took it a second to get rolling. But that, realistically, is how people are going to accelerate taking off from a light if you wanted to go full throttle.
Exactly.
Your average person's not going to be brake boosting it.
Yeah, well, I would, but then most
but you're
consumers,
not most.
Yeah, I know. It's really funny when I do that in my wife's car. She gets really angry.
So what do you think of this screen layout and the tech in this car?
I like it better than what I saw in the EQS.
Yeah.
Which I thought was almost too much.
Not a huge fan of the hyperscreen. It is a lot. It's overwhelming, and I think the average customer who gets a vehicle like this, a luxury vehicle, and they spend that amount of money, they don't want to be overwhelmed, or at least I wouldn't want to be overwhelmed by all the tech and features and parameters and things that it can show you. I want things to be simple.
Right, and it's an interesting combination in this vehicle in terms of simplicity. Now, you guys yelled at us when we did a video with the Mustang Mach-E, the fact that we're old, cranky men, and we wanted knobs and dials and a little bit less tech just to make things a little bit simpler. Mercedes has a cross-section where it's like above and below that. So if you look down here, I don't know if the camera guy, if you can get that, you actually have physical controls for volume.
Roller.
I know that seems like it's a very simple, small thing, but I actually really like it.
Oh, it's lovely.
And it doesn't take long to figure out, that this is actually controlling your volume. Granted, the first time I drove this, I was actually trying to change the volume, and I kept changing the dynamic mode into Eco, and I couldn't figure out why things were changed.
It would be smart for them to put the volume closer to you, but then again, you've got volume on the steering wheel, so maybe this is a little bit more for the passenger.
I'm actually okay with that both ways. It's funny because I drive a lot of vehicles with steering wheel controllers, and I really do consider Mercedes to be amongst the better ones, but it's also a little fussy. Look how many different controls you have here and here. That's an awful lot. And you have paddle shifters. Yeah. So it's an awful lot on the steering wheel. Now, let's fire up the sound probe now that we're moving and see. We have a vehicle outside that's making some noise. So, ready? We're going to go quiet for 10 seconds and go. What do you think?
High 50s.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And we had a truck next to us who I'm pretty sure has a
big
exhaust.
rumble.
Yeah, a big rumble exhaust delete. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this navigation system, which is a audio intelligent system that has its own software that's able to use your voice in a very simple way and diagnose exactly what you need about half the time. So, I'm sorry, but it doesn't always work, right?
Yeah, voice assistance in general.
Yeah, right. And then after that, we're going to get the hula girl ready, and we're going to hold her. You just use your hands and you'll hold her, and we're going to go over road surface. So the first thing we're going to do, ready guys? Here we go. Hey Mercedes, find snarfs.
Let's see.
Wait for it.
Could be good. No!
She did it before. Oh, wait a minute.
She doesn't want to cooperate. You wouldn't have to exit the radios.
No.
Set.
Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
locate snarfs.
Locate. See what you did there. No, it doesn't want to do it.
I'm going to try once again, but I'll do it after we do the test because
Okay.
that's coming up right now.
Yeah, so we're pulling onto our bumpy road.
Now we're doing the first section instead of the second because the second was repaved. So here we go. Now let me put this in comfort mode. Here we go. So that is, and it instantly changes the suspension. So let's see how much she boogies. She's not really boogieing much. She's going to deliberately hit
Just
a couple.
a little bit.
A pothole here. Oh, okay, there's a little
bit.
But I'm not feeling a whole lot. I hear it, but I don't feel it. And it's because those wheels are so bloody massive. Here's some more. Here, a little bit more right there. Nope.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not too bad.
It's really good. So we usually, Roman will do a scale, 1 to 10, 10 being worse. I'm going to say that this is amongst the better side of that.
Yeah, which you would expect from a vehicle like this. Again, it's not a sports car. It should ride
Right,
smooth.
but if I put it in the sport mode, right, the whole thing changes. I didn't notice a difference with Eco really all, but when you put it in sport mode, the acceleration, the pedal is really sensitive, and the ride is super stiff, and the steering is a little bit stiffer too. Everything kind of gets beefier and tighter.
And that's why I like that it also has an individual mode, because sometimes you want the powertrain to be snappy, but realistically in an SUV, I don't imagine there's a lot of customers that want the suspension to be tightened up, because are you going to be testing the handling on this? Are you going to be taking it on a windy road and trying to carve as if you were in a Miata or?
I would, because I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I would,
You
because
would.
of me. Because
That's
of
true,
me.
I believe that.
Yeah. If I had your Cummins diesel, I would put that on the road and say, hey, it handles great. But the other side of it is, every once in a while, if you're on a road trip and you have to take a back road, it's really nice to know that you can fire it up and make this thing handle like a much smaller vehicle. And having a big, and this is almost a truck, even though it's based on a unibody platform, having a big vehicle like this, essentially being able to drive almost half its size and maneuver the way this thing can is really impressive. And I'll give it a lot of kudos for that. But there are a couple issues, not to mention price, which we're going to talk about when we get out of the car as we get back. I'm going to try snarf some more time, okay? I wonder if the volume was part of the issue. Okay, here we go. Hey, Mercedes,
How can I help?
find snarfs.
Did a good job enunciating there. If she doesn't get it now, she won't ever.
Showing 5 results.
Wow, there you go.
Jawohl, mein Herr.
So,
This
third
is
time
good.
is a charm.
Ich liebe dich. Look at that, right there, snarf sandwiches, which is, by the way, right there. Thank you.
Go away.
Dankeschön, danke.
Go away.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Sorry, we didn't mean to bother you. I really just don't want to piss off Mercedes.
Okay, I think we're good now.
We're good. Okay, so that worked. The problem was that I didn't enunciate, I suppose. I was slurring my words, which happens often. And so but it does work really well when it hears you. A lot of information coming at you in a very short amount of time, I agree. But this vehicle is worth it. Why? Because it starts at $77,850. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
This one, now bear in mind that this has almost every package you can get without being an actual AMG, is $96,220.
That's
That's
tough.
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And
$96.
that's without a markup. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this vehicle as sitting. Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, and why?
If I had to do one of the above and I had a lot of money,
Yeah.
I would lease it, because for all the reasons that we've been talking about, tech, the looks of it, it's a great engine, great interior. this is a great vehicle to be in and around. If I had a family and I cared about them enough to swath them in luxury,
Right.
this would be the way to do it. But long term, I'm not sure I want to own a car this complicated or expensive and have to replace parts on it. I have a 1972 Mercedes. I've been down that road, and I'd rather lease it, have it for a while, and move on.
I'm going to give it a buy it, but not like this. There's no reason to get these really good looking, but way oversized wheels. The 20s that come standard would be more than adequate. I'm pretty sure the handling wouldn't be that much different, and it would probably be a better ride.
Absolutely.
And
better off-road.
Yeah, I think almost everything about it would be better. I have had an opportunity to drive the older model with the AMG full setup, and it was a monster. But this is more than enough, and I really like the way it feels. I like the electronics. They're not completely mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But yet there's still more than learn, right? So yeah, it's a really good vehicle, but not with all the packages. It doesn't need it. You can get the base model, $77,000, and have an excellent vehicle right out of the box. And I think that that's the way I would go. So I think that that's a fair way to say it. I'm sure Roman would disagree with us if he was here, but right now he's at home with Geritol. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much for helping me out.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.